Yesterday. So the Cavaliers bring a 16-game winning streak into a matchup with Orlando yesterday, and they were ahead most of this game. Look at Donovan Mitchell with the monster two-hand flush. Cavs up 7. Look at the slam. So you figure, all right, they're going to keep the streak going. But hold on, Orlando hanging in. It's a one-point game. It's Mitchell again, taking it strong. He would score 23. Cavs reclaim the lead. Back and forth they would go. 2 minutes to go. Cleveland's up by 3. Not anymore. That's KCP. We're tied at 100. Cavs down 2. Just about a minute left to go. Max Strus putting Cleveland back up by 1. Ensuing possession. Paolo Banchero. He's got space. He had 24 and 11. The Magic with the lead. 20 seconds left. Cleveland 3, the streak on the line. Mitchell for the tie. It's no good. Oh, my God, they lost. Orlando with the win, 108-103. And so the 16-game winning streak is snapped. It was the second streak of at least 15 straight wins the Cavs had this year. Remember, they started 15-0. In the last 75 years, they're only the 5th team to have multiple 15-game winning streaks in a season. 3 of the 4 you see on the screen at least made it to the finals. The Cavaliers are hoping to do that as well. But how do they stack up in the East? We asked the NBA Countdown crew to share their thoughts on that.
Hey, welcome inside our Los Angeles studios. Gentlemen, you need no introductions. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference here, because we just saw the Cavaliers' 16-game winning streak, Stephen A., a franchise record, be snapped. But still, they're a formidable team in this regular season. But who is more dominant? Who is scarier, the Boston Celtics or the Cavaliers?
I think it's the Boston Celtics because they're the reigning defending NBA champions. They've been there before. You know what Jason Tatum can do. You know what Jaylen Brown can do. You saw Porzingis miss most of the season and then show up in the finals and play lights out in his first appearance in the NBA Finals. And you see guys like Pritchard coming off the bench and how they've elevated their level of play as well. I'm just looking at the Boston Celtics right now as the reigning defending champions. But what Cleveland suffered on Sunday afternoon and how they lost this game to Orlando, that doesn't faze me in the slightest. That was clearly an aberration. Yeah. Shooting 10 of 40 from three-point range, that is not the Cleveland Cavaliers we should expect to see. But Boston are still a champion.
I think I agree with you. And I mean, Perk, I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's Boston, right? I think most of America would say
them to win the championship.
No, but just a scarier team, right? Most of America would say it's Boston, right? So what is the case for the Cavaliers?
Well, I look at the Cavs, and I think the separation there between them and the Celtics, if you look at the starting 5 of the Boston Celtics, we praise them for what? Having a starting 5 that could play both ends of the floor. When I look at the Cleveland Cavaliers today, it showed with Evan Mobley being out that the Orlando Magic, what they did was they hunted switches on pick and rolls to get advantage, mismatches, excuse me. And I think when you have a small backcourt and Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, you could expose the Cleveland Cavaliers, especially if you have bigger perimeter players. And what do Boston have? They have big wings. They also have Kristaps Porzingis, a guy that is one of the best in the league for his post-ups. They utilizes those mismatches. And when you're that small at the backcourt, it could come back and bite you in the behind come postseason time, like the Cavs have.
Malika, the NBA, more than any other sport, the best team, the most talent, usually wins. You might not say that about a baseball team or even an NFL Super Bowl. It's one game. Sometimes the most talented team doesn't win. NBA Finals, 7-game series, right. Take away the injury. You can always throw up, well, if these guys get hurt. And that I'm just going to assume they're both healthy. The Celtics have a better team. Yeah. They got more talent. And it's not to knock Cleveland. Cleveland's what they've done this year, I think, surprised everybody. And that should be applauded. And I think there'll be a tremendously difficult out for the Celtics or anybody should Cleveland get to the finals. But the Celtics have the experience. Yep. They've got the know-how, and they've got the talent.
Boston should be the favorite. They've got the know-how. The key is the know-how. But I want to be very clear. I'm not dismissing the Cleveland Cavaliers by any stretch of the imagination. I think when you look at their size, their athleticism, their defensive prowess, how efficient they are offensively, number 1 in the league, number 1 in three-point shooting prior to Sunday's loss to Orlando. When you look at their depth, when you look at the fact that they've got about 10 dudes averaging at least 19 minutes a game, when you see DeAndre Hunter and the addition he has meant to them, I'm just saying, again, if you're going to bet your money, of course you don't bet against Boston. But in the same breath, we've seen plenty of times in NBA history where the favorite got knocked off. And if there's anybody that can knock off Boston, it's Cleveland.
But again, that's why I go back to my point on what you just said. You said their size and athleticism Yes, they have size in Jared Allen and Mobley, but that backcourt is small. It is small with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland.
So make the case for me. What needs to happen for it to be the Cleveland Cavaliers? Because
Okay.
I think all of America
I'll tell you
agrees
what
with
needs
us.
to happen.
It's Boston that's
Here's
more
what needs to
dangerous.
happen. Obviously, they need to get to the Eastern Conference Final. I think they both have a great shot at that, right? I think we all would agree. They're the two favorites. And the Knicks, we can talk about them at another time.
Another time.
I'm kind of disappointed that we're not even talking about them in the Eastern Conference Finals because they're talented too. Malika, sometimes the ball needs to bounce your way. I'm talking about there'll be a close game. If these guys are playing each other, there'll be a game that could go either way. Those games need to go the Cavs' way. A bank in three.
Yeah.
A weird sprained ankle where Brown or Tatum misses a game or something like that.
Well,
those things need to happen.
Let me throw this out in terms of addressing Kendrick's point. You're right, Garland and Mitchell. But keep your eyes on DeAndre Hunter from this perspective. You brought him there for two reasons to Cleveland. His ability to defend on the perimeter, and, of course, he can hit some three-point shots. He's averaged 18, 19 a game. I'm saying to you, it don't have to be Garland and Mitchell. It could be somebody like DeAndre Hunter that's thrown into this as well to give you some size. And that helps.
But another thing the Boston Celtics starting five all do, they all are great at posting up the damn basketball, including Drew Holiday. So everyone is going to have to.
You got to remember, they love launching threes, and they want you.
Yeah, you're right. It's another thing.
You want them to
Celtics
shoot
could
too.
have some bad shooting games.
That's
We
right.
could talk about these two teams all day. They split the regular season series, and so it would make for a very interesting conference finals. By the way, those 4 games decided by just 1 point, and that's what makes us so intrigued.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Giannis. So the leading scorer in the NBA against the second leading scorer in the NBA. Second quarter, and look at Giannis, the footwork inside. He had 21 points and a triple-double, but it wasn't near enough. OKC is so good. Left hand from SGA. Thunder in the half on a 7-0 run. They're up a dozen at the break. Third quarter, 9 minutes to go. The lead is 17. Look at all of the defenses with SGA, and that leads to this. Hartenstein with the dunk left-handed. He had 24 points, 12 rebounds. Meanwhile, if you don't double SGA, he's going to do anything he wants. He had 31. Next Thunder possession, more from Shai. 62 straight games in which he has scored at least 20 points. Early fourth quarter now, it's Holmgren crashing the glass. He had 16 points. Give me a little flex there, Chet. He's feeling good about things. Thunder just continue to be outstanding. They win it going away. Every East contender has to pray they don't run into SGA in the finals. In 10 games against the top 6 teams in the East, he's averaging over 36 a game. He has scored 30 in every one of those games. He's a runaway favorite, by the way, for MVP. He is now minus 800. Was this. We'll put it in fact or fiction form. If I said North Carolina deserved a spot in this field, is that fact or fiction?
That is absolute fiction. You look at